Hello, Truth Tribe. Happy Monday and welcome to the tribe. Today's tip of the day is Traumology. That's what I like to call it. And what happens is when you have some sort of trauma, wound, challenge, poor experience in your life, remember that painful experience or moment is going to be different for each person. So what may be painful for you has no impact on the person sitting next to you, and them as well on you. So we have to stop judging people from where their traumas are. But the piece that I don't like is that when we stay in that trauma, now understanding it and where it came from and why it's irritating you, important. And the reason I bring this up is because if we keep replaying that trauma in our mind, um, in verbal, telling someone how much what happened, you won't believe it, this is what happened, then we start having this wiring take place. Well, every time that trauma takes place, whether it was really when it happened 20, 50, 30, 10 years ago, or it just happened 2 days ago, every time you play that trauma verbally, emotionally, discussing it with another person, you rewire and reset in your body the feelings and the chemical reaction that happened that day of that actual trauma or event. So what happens is that's where the traumology comes in. Your biology now starts to play out. Your brain is a chemical factory and it plays out all these chemicals that happened, whether it was adrenaline, whether it was, your cortisol levels got thrown off. Everything gets thrown off when you're in these zones of adrenaline fight or flight mode. And so the body starts kicking in, and every time you're thinking it, it's throwing yourself into the brain saying, make the chemical, make the chemical, make the chemical. Then, wherever you felt it or whatever happened or however that trauma happened, you keep playing it out and that pain shows up. So it's very, very important that you start paying attention to the traumas that you keep replaying. Now, discussing them in the gift that they gave you and how you've grown and the benefit, that's wonderful. But when you're replaying it to the exact replica, you won't believe it. And when this happened, do you know what happened to me? And when that happened, that's just like this, and that's just like this. So what happens is if someone shows up that either looks like the person that traumatized you, looks like the experience, the room you were in, the environment you were in, the car that you were in, that experience where you got in the car accident and it was trauma and it hurt you, whatever it is, the more similar it looks to the environment, it will trigger you to go, that's a memory. And then that memory then kicks into the brain. The brain says, I remember this. This is how it felt. And it sends out those chemicals, sending it down to the part of the body where usually your constitution is weakest and you feel pain. So the biology is responding to the traumology. And when we have this, we keep going to the body pain and saying, ugh, I need to fix this. And I just did a YouTube, it's on my YouTube, guys. Go check out the YouTube video as well. It's real short. And I talked about this. How do we heal ourselves, or at least get ourselves into balance a little bit more? And the good way to start rewiring this is to fill yourself up with, astrologically, what is your sign? What element does your sign fall into? There's earth, air, fire, and water signs. You can Google what sign is, what element is my zodiac sign, you'll know. You're a water sign, you're a fire sign, you're an earth sign, or an air sign. And when you fill yourself with those, you're rewiring your system, you're rewiring the ebb and flow, you're seeing the goodness, you're filling in the whole of you. But what happens is you're either filling yourself with water, you're filling yourself with air, you're filling yourself with fiery energy to exercise or burning or intentional energy, or you're filling yourself with groundedness out in the earth. That's building up a new wiring and a new mentality, and that's sending off the dopamine and the serotonins of our world and making us feel good, the cortisol. So when you're sending off cortisol, I'm having my chemical mind lapse. So when we're sending off the positive chemicals in our body, that's what we want to keep recreating, but we're not. So when those elements kick in, sometimes we're smoking the wrong thing, we're taking the wrong pill, we're drinking the wrong liquid, and we're numbing that pain instead of allowing that pain to teach us what emotion is playing it. When you stop playing the emotion, the pain tends to go away. Or when we tend to pay attention to the pain, we go and it teaches us what emotion that needs to get let go. That's traumology. So remember, there's always a trauma or an emotional experience that's connected to a pain. And if you can put the two together, you will find a faster way to heal, a faster way to evolve, and feel so much better on a daily basis because you know you have control of the emotion. And when you have control of that, you can rewire it with one of the four elements. Get out and do all of them if you can. Go out for a walk barefooted, and we'll talk about this in the Truth Tribe, and go out and get water. Drink some water. Get yourself grounded. Get yourself fluid, hydrated. Drink some tea. Go out and exercise. Take some deep breaths, and you'll feel better. So watch your Traumology. Remember, I will see you in a week. We're skipping the week for the first. Remember, you'll get another one of these fun videos. And the next live call we will be discussing, and I'll remind you this on the following week, is on groundedness, security, and fun in romance, children, and parenting. How do we parent? How do we be better parents? How do we work through some of that if you are a parent or you know friends who are parents? So the fun house and the security house, those two actually go a really close hand in hand. So if you have any questions, remember to send in your questions. It doesn't need to be a live call to send me questions. I love building them up and getting prepped or responding back to you. If you need anything, find me. I wish you the greatest week, brightest blessings. Have a great day.